friends, welcome to the fourth video in our Gavel Estate Planning Intake Workflow series. Today we're going to go over how to add help text to your questions, how to add additional pages to your workflow, and how to add logic to your questions and your pages. Let's get started. All right, first thing you're going to do is open up that workflow that we were working on before. As you can see, I've added some pages and some questions since the last time we had a video. So if you need to add any additional pages, you can do that by clicking New and Page. Your page is always going to insert after the page that you had clicked into. And you can tell which page you're clicked into because it's highlighted purple here. So you can add a page that way, or you can add a page here. Now let's add some help text to a question. So to add help text to a question, you just click into the question, go to Settings, and here is where you'll add that help text under the Helper Tooltip text. And you just type in whatever help text you need. And then you can exit. Just make sure you're clicking Save when you're making changes so that you're saving as you go and you don't lose any of your work. Let's add some logic to some questions. So I'm going to scroll down here to this married question. Now, if they're not married, you won't need to ask for the spouse's name. So we'll hit Edit Logic on this question. And you can do either Show this question or Hide this question logic. So right now we're going to say Show this question if your married variable is yes. And then you just click out of it. And you can tell the logic has been applied because this is now highlighted purple. We're going to do the same thing here for this minor children question. If children is yes, then this question will show. So as long as the variable you want to use to set logic comes before the question you need to set the logic for or the page, then you can use that variable in your logic. Now let's add some page logic. So this page is for estate planning choices. We have this first question here where you're choosing the legal documents that we're preparing. So we can use those choices to set logic to this page. So to set logic to the page, you'll click the logic button here, and then you'll find that variable. So this is the document output variable. And since this is a single select or a multi-select question, it's going to show if that is any of your choice. So if financial power of attorney is chosen, this page will show. And you can do that for all of the corresponding pages. So we'll do the same thing. I'm clicked into the healthcare power of attorney page. I'll go to Add Logic. Finds the variable that we want to use, choose healthcare power of attorney. Same thing for the will. Find the variable and add the logic. You can use yes/no questions, single select questions, combo box questions, anything that's got choices you can use. You could also use text questions and say, as long as this contains exactly this, then show this page. But it's easier to use your choices types of questions to set logic. You can also set multiple conditions to a page or a question. So let's go to this children page. So for this first one, your children, we're going to set one condition. If the children is yes, then it will show. For spouse's children, this page only needs to show if children is yes and married is yes. So we'll go into this logic button. You'll find the first variable, if children is yes. You'll click this add condition, and then you'll find that second variable that you want to use as a condition. If married is yes. Just make sure you're saving frequently to make sure that you're saving your changes. So we can also do that for this, your spouse's estate planning choices section. So all of these pages only need to show if that document has been chosen and if married. So we're going to choose married and if the document is financial power of attorney for power of attorney. So go through your workflow, add the logic that needs to be added to it, and then we'll run through an example of what this looks like for your client. Right now that you've applied all the logic you need to your workflow, let's run it and see what that looks like. So here's an example here. This is an example of that help text. I'm just going to choose one thing. We're just going to choose the power of attorney. It's going to go into the client information, another example of help text. And they're going to fill out their information. All right, and here we are at that married and children question. So if I say yes to this, it's going to show me that spouse question. If I say no, it takes it away. Same thing for the children question. So we're going to say no to children, but let's say yes to married. And we'll see what that looks like. So if I hit continue, it's going to take me to the Your Estate Planning Choices section, and it's asking me for power of attorney information. Now you'll remember I had two other pages built out in that section, one for the healthcare power of attorney and one for the will, but neither of those showed based on the logic I set to those pages. Now we're in the spouse's choices. And it also skipped for the wife because I only selected financial power of attorney and I set logic to those pages. Now let's see what that would look like for one of the sections I had multiple logic set to. Let's run this again. We'll choose financial power of attorney again. Fill out the information. This time I'm going to say no to married, and we're still going to say no to children. So it takes me to the financial power of attorney page for the client. But it skips the spouse's page because married was no. So when you have these and conditions in your logic for pages, both of these things have to be true. So even though this first one was true, married wasn't. So it didn't show the page. If I wanted it to show if either of these things were true, then I would hit or. And that will show if this condition is true or if this condition is true. And that's a breakdown of how to use logic in your workflows. That brings us to the end of our video. As always, if you want additional information, you can go to help.gavel.io. And if you want to sign up for a Gavel account and get started, you can use this URL. This is also available as a link on our page. If this was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.